Is this the best smartphone on the market? Let's have a look. Dave Taylor here, and I'm looking at this. This is the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus, which makes it the largest of the 3 Galaxy S10s, and it's an awfully nice phone. So, I'm going to tell you a lot about it. We're going to spend a lot of time looking at examples of this and showing you how different things work. But let's start right out with an observation that if you look carefully at how they've done the screensaver, it gets real dark in this corner. Because they have what they call the hole punch. So if I launch a different program, let's like go into Samsung Pay. No, that's not going to work. Let's try going into the Google Store. And now suddenly, here's a close-up. You can see there's this like double hole there. So this is their approach to saying, you know, we're not going to do the notch like the iPhone 10. But what we are going to still have to do is have somewhere we can put those darn selfie front-facing cameras. So that's basically what that notch does. I'm sorry, what that hole punch does. So it actually is pretty benign, and with these sort of smart screensaver and wallpapers that they've designed, you really can ignore it and forget that it even exists. So kind of a slick design there. Now, the phone is IP68 water resistant. It is delightfully slim. You can see it has that edge-to-edge screen, which is so beautiful on the latest Galaxy line. Running Android Pie 9.0, which is great because one of the features you get on it is you can remap the Bixby button. There's a little Bixby button on the side. I am going to be candid. I'm not a fan of Bixby. So I would much rather have something like Google Assistant. And you can't quite get there, but you can at least map it to something else, which is a step in the right direction. Now, this is running the Qualcomm Snapdragon 855 processor. The European and Asian version has a different processor, most likely, but the North American version is off the Snapdragon. This has 8 gig RAM, 128 gig of storage, or possibly 512, depending on configuration. Or you can get the monster version like this, which is 12 gig of RAM and 1 terabyte of onboard storage. That's a lot of storage space for a smartphone. And it has a micro SD card support, which you can add another 512 gig of space. Why do you need 1.5 terabyte of storage space on your phone? Not sure, but I will say this is a stunning screen. So it's entirely possible you're using that because you just have hours and hours of great video footage that you want to watch. Now, the video footage, you're going to be able to do that in 3040 by 1440 at 522 pixels per inch. The density of this screen is really impressive. This is, as you can see, a nice bright screen, really easy to work with. So let's back up a tiny bit. It supports dual SIMs, which is fantastic because even yesterday I was sitting talking to a guy from a large automotive company, and what did he have? He had 2 phones stacked in front of him. I'm like, what's the deal? And he's like, well, I got my personal phone and I got my business phone. Wouldn't it make a whole lot more sense to have one phone that supports dual SIMs? That's what the Galaxy S10 Plus does. Very nice. One other really cool feature is it has a fingerprint scanner, right, if you turn it on. But the fingerprint scanner is not on the back. There is not a hole on the bottom. It is literally on the screen. So if I put my finger here, it will complain, wrong finger, right? And I'll do this upside down just so you can see what happens when I put the correct finger on. It unlocks the phone. It works remarkably well. Now, I will say, when I first saw the ads for it, I thought the entire surface was going to be a fingerprint sensor and I could put my finger anywhere. It's not that. There's a specific spot, but it has a nice graphical way of showing you where that is. Cool. Now, the S10 comes in 3 different editions. There's the S10e with a 5.8-inch screen, the S10 with a 6.1-inch screen, and this, the S10 Plus, with a 6.4-inch screen. It is a pretty big screen, but since it's edge to edge and since the whole thing is slim and light, it doesn't feel like a very big phone. When I look at like the iPhone XS Max, that feels like a little mini tablet. This does not have that feel to it. It just feels like it's a smartphone with a big, beautiful screen on it. Very nice. So the screen is a 6.4-inch Quad HD Plus made with dynamic AMOLEDs or AMOLEDs. I don't think you're supposed to pronounce that acronym. Oh well, leave me a comment, I'm sure you will. And like I said, this particular screen is running at 3040 by 1440, and it's 522 pixels per inch, and it's HDR10 plus certified. So small screen, gorgeous looking, beautiful. You can get, if you're watching a movie on it or something, if you have something that's HDR10 plus, which is the latest generation, you're going to get really great blacks. You're going to get a really crisp image. Now, let me take you on a quick tour of the edges, because on the top, nothing. On the left side, there's volume up, down, and the Bixby button. We'll just frown about that. On the right-hand side is the power button. So really, none of these, it's not even worth showing you close-ups. They're not very interesting. The only thing that's interesting is the bottom edge, because the bottom edge has USB-C for charging. It has the little cutout for a speaker, and huzzah, it actually has a 3.5 millimeter audio jack, which works out really well because it ships with these AKG earbuds. And yeah, the first, I don't know, 1,000, 5,000 people that ordered the S10 got Galaxy Buds, which are their wireless earbuds with Qi wireless charging. Oh well, I didn't get that version. I got this version, and I gotta give them huge props. These are AKG, they sound terrific, but here's what's even more amazing. What really amazed me is that it actually included multiple size ear tips, and I could change and adjust them to get the right size ear tips for my ears, which always makes a huge difference in sound quality. So huge props to Samsung for saying, let's actually give people some choices there. By comparison, Apple has this whole approach of, you have one size of ears and that is what we are shipping and that's the way it is. You know, so if you want to get like AirPods or something, I know a lot of people that can't use them because they don't fit or they fall out or they're too big. So, you know, having the ability to change those ear tips, and by the way, these sound really good. These are really nice earbuds. I'm very impressed that they come for free. Well, for free, we'll sort of roll with that. But they come without additional charge with the Samsung Galaxy S10 line. So that's really cool. Now, real quick, in the box, I already have an unboxing if you want to go and watch that. It's much more detailed, but comes with the, what do they call it? The Samsung quick charge, right? And it just has one plug on it and the cord you need to be able to do that, and a little USB-C to USB 3 adapter, and of course all the different ear tips. And as good as I am with electronics, I was unable to put the ear tips back onto their little stem. I don't know how the heck they put them on in the first place, but it's close, right? So now let's talk a little bit about the cameras, because this is some remarkable cameras. There are two front-facing selfie cameras. Let's see, and let's start with that. So we have a 10 megapixel selfie camera and an 8 megapixel RGB depth camera. And here's an example of a selfie that I took, and you can see it's crisp. It's really, really a nice photo. But we're not done, because then the rear has three, count them, three different actual lenses. It has a 12 megapixel telephoto, a 12 megapixel wide angle, and a 12 megapixel ultra wide angle. So I actually don't call the first one telephoto, I just call it normal. Because they can't all be something, right? But let me show you an example. This is of a pool at an apartment complex. And we're going to start with just the normal 12 megapixel shot. It's clean, it's crisp. But now let's jump to telephoto. And then let's jump to ultra wide. And you can see the differences are remarkable. It's very impressive. Now, where the XS Plus is also impressive is with video capture. So you can actually capture 720 HD at 30 frames per second, but just enjoy these few moments of this river. Really, really nice. And it's, you know, this long, rather ugly strip, but the functionality you get is really impressive. And on the front, the selfie cameras, like I said, that's the hole punch. So it's almost invisible depending on what wallpaper you use. And there are people, there's now like wallpapers people have designed that have like little binoculars in that corner. There's all sorts of fun people are having with this. But fundamentally, it's a pretty benign way to get, you need something pointing forward. You can't have a screen in front of the lens. So I think Samsung's done a really nice job with that piece of engineering. So what else can I tell you? Supports Wi-Fi 6, and it has a very impressive 4100 milliamp hour battery, which gives you like a day and a half of charging, right? So, or a day and a half per charge. It lasts a long darn time, which is really good. Now, to be fair, the 4100 milliamp hour is the S10 Plus. If you get a smaller screen, you have a smaller phone, which means you have a smaller battery. So there's your trade-off. But they all come with one really slick feature, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to pull down, you swipe down twice, and then you get a little button labeled wireless power share. So I'll tap on that. And now here's what's happened is the back is now a wireless Qi charger. So I just happen to have an iPhone XS, which works with wireless charging, and I put it on, and my iPhone is charging off of the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus. It is slightly weird, but really cool. Honestly, I don't think people are going to be using it very often. This is sort of like a crisis management sort of thing where you're all hanging out at a party and someone says, my phone's dying. And you say, hey, I got a spare couple of milliamp hours of battery, so let me just let you do this. But most of the time, probably not something you're going to use. And you will want to remember to turn it off when you're done, and you can double check by just pulling down, and wireless power share is off. So easy, and it actually works. Really kind of cool. I'm not, again, entirely sure it's a critical feature, but it's a fun feature. So really all that's left to talk about is the price, and it does come with a rather staggering price tag, right? So I will warn you before we get to the price that you probably want to sit down and take a deep breath. Okay, but before we get there, I'm going to ask if you can subscribe to my channel. Really appreciate if you can subscribe to my channel. And, if you have any feedback or there's specific things you wanted to know about the S10 Plus, leave a comment. Or if you're running a different Samsung Galaxy phone, tell me what you like about it. So, all good, all in comments. I respond to all comments. I really do. So, I'm paying attention. Cool. Okay, so now let's talk about the price, right? So, the phone itself, see the back there, has 5 different colors. There's, actually no, 6 different colors. There's white and black and green and blue. And then they have these like slate white and slate black. And those are slightly different configurations. But remember, the phone itself has 3 different sizes and different storage options. So at its base configuration, the S10 Plus is $999.99. And you can check it out at AT&T Wireless, who has sponsored this and sent me the phone, by the way. Just want you to know that. And if you want to max this thing out like this one with 1 terabyte of storage and 12 gigabyte of RAM, which makes it stupid fast, this is going to set you back $1,599.99. That is a sweat-inducing amount of money for a phone. But honestly, this is not a phone. This is like a teeny tiny laptop with no keyboard that happens to make phone calls that, by the way, sound really good. People are very happy when I've talked to them on this as a phone. Do the people even use these as phones? Anyway, whole nother subject. But it is a really remarkable amount of money, but it's a really remarkable piece of technology. So if you want to be right on the cutting edge and have the best possible phone on the market, certainly the best Android phone, and I'm really pretty much sure this is the best phone overall right now, today, that you can buy on the market. So, super impressed. Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus, definitely worth checking out if you're in the market. Understand there's different sizes, there's different configurations, and it is a premium product with a premium price tag. And as for me, I think I might watch some Netflix on this beautiful screen, which means I'll catch you in my next video.